Welcome to the Sunset Flip Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Darren.
What the hell is going on?
And DoubleC.
I don't know.
Covering 5 hours of WWE programming.
You think this shit would get stale after a while, but apparently not.
Yes, it is me, DoubleC, going alone today because Darren is on assignment. But that's okay, because we still have a couple shows to do on our road to WrestleMania. This week we are taking on, or at least I'm taking on, solely, SmackDown from the 8th of January and Monday Night Raw from the 11th of February. I say February before? It was supposed to be February for both. Yeah. Anyways. So, I'm gonna touch on this next week, but I'm gonna do it again this week, is that apparently Zack Ryder's music video, he released a new version on YouTube. I gotta say it's better, but the song still kinda sucks. I mean, when you compare the singing talents of wrestlers, I think of the Hogan song and the Randy Savage song, and you don't want that. Oh man, it's so terrible. I mentioned this because two reasons. Apparently, Zack Ryder's song "Hosky" is broke the charts on iTunes, and then at the same time, R-Truth has a new music video out for Little Jimmy, and I gotta say, the Little Jimmy music video is a lot better than the Zack Ryder song. I can't understand what R-Truth is saying half the time, but that's okay. I mean, I still like R-Truth's video a lot more than Zack Ryder's. Anyways, so, on to business at hand. Okay, SmackDown from the 8th. Okay, so the show starts off with Big Show's bus, because this is foreshadowing. Ha. And then he enters the arena, and then after that we are treated to a brand new SmackDown intro. Finally, it's been months, and it's been using the same song as what you think that they're going to be using. I think it's kind of dull, or whatever. So, Big Show comes out. He complains about double standards. It's not fair because he's not popular. Now, since he's not popular, he can't... I mean, if he tries to defend himself, he's called a bully and a coward and all that stuff. Well, Alberto Del Rio, who's super, super popular and the good guy, can get away with everything else that he gets away with. It's not fair. I tend to agree. It is noted that Alberto Del Rio is suspended for this episode. We'll see how far that goes. And Big Show blames Booker T. And then Booker T comes out. Big Show wants to know who gave Alberto Del Rio the information for his hotel room. And he doesn't get an answer. And so then Booker T sets up a match with Kane and fade to black. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, first match of the night. Kofi Kingston versus Cody Rhodes. And this is... can't remember this match too much, so it probably wasn't memorable at all. Cody Rhodes ends up winning with the Crossroads. Kofi seems to be, well, I don't know, tumbling down the ladder, so to speak. Which I kind of called way back when he was getting his big push. You know, he has a tendency of doing that. Then we go to Team Hell No backstage. Daniel Bryan says he's sorry about interfering, but he wants to be in Kane's corner for his match. Okay. Some dissension in the ranks, sort of. I'm pretty much betting that they're going to have a tag team champion versus tag team champion match at WrestleMania. Like, that's never been done before. Michael Cole will say that, and everybody will groan. Okay, then we have a video package featuring Brock Lesnar and Vince. We have another video package with Brock Lesnar and The Miz. Then we have one more video package featuring Bruno Sammartino, which we're going to see again and again and again. I know it seems like I'm harping on the guy, but, you know, they got to replay everything all over again and again and again. Next up, we have the Great Khali versus Titus O'Neil. Khali chops, Natalya jumps, and then Mark Henry comes out of nowhere and beats Titus O'Neil up. And then does the world's largest slam to Great Khali. He gets on the mic. He says he feels like he's left out. Outside, we have the Big Show and his bus thing. He yells at people. He yells at his driver. This is also foreshadowing. And then he teleports to the stage, where we have Kane versus the Big Show. Yeah, Big Show got to the ring fast, and Big Show punches Kane. He wins, of course, because he's world champion. Alberto Del Rio is in the parking lot. He says he's made big changes to the bus. Then Big Show teleports back to the bus, and he finds out that there's no wheels on it. And he goes, "How is that possible?" Incidentally, that was cut from the Raw thing, Raw video package, on the Monday Night Raw from last night. And then after that, of course, he gets paint poured on him, bright orange paint, and destroys the camera in the process. Fourth match of the night, Jack Swagger versus Justin Gabriel, and then Gabriel taps out to the Patriot Act. Apparently, if you want to get a future World Heavyweight title shot or a chance to get one, you have to beat up jobbers. Moving on. Fifth match, Drew McIntyre versus Tensai in a Tensai is turning face match. Three-man band attack Brodus Clay. Three-man band attacks Tensai. Brodus Clay makes a save. And then Tensai dances with Brodus. Okay. Yeah. This is going to be one of those gimmicks. Next up, Sin Cara versus Antonio Cesaro. We have a bunch of USA chants. Yeah. They're both foreign. And then Cesaro uppercuts and he wins. Yay! We have Randy Orton backstage, and he says his match with Mark Henry is that he's a roadblock, that Mark Henry has been gone a long time. He can't go. He's washed up. All that stuff. I'm Randy Orton. Let's see. We go backstage with The Miz, and then Cesaro comes up. He says something, and then The Miz attacks. The pay-per-view for Elimination Chamber will have Team Good Guys, CENA and his amazing friends, versus The Shield in a 6-man tag match, which should be in the Elimination Chamber. But no, we don't want to do that. Main event time. We have Randy Orton versus Mark Henry. Let's see. Orton breaks up the countout by entering the ring instead of entering and then exiting the ring. There was a countout. You don't do that. Ref goes, "Oh, you were in the ring. I'm going to count all over again. 1, 2." And then Mark Henry beats up Orton clean. Picks up the victory. He's in the main in the chamber match. So, I don't know. It seems like both Raw and SmackDown are going to be more about SmackDown because what do you have for Raw? I mean, really. So, let's go with Raw from the 11th. The show starts out with Paul Heyman. He says this is his last appearance. He doesn't like to play the victim. He has passion and sacrifice for everything he believes in, namely ECW, Brock Lesnar, and CM Punk. He says he's been a distraction to Punk and he has to get out of the way, so he's going to leave. Then CM Punk comes out. He looks really distraught about the whole situation and talks some sense into Heyman, and he goes, "There's a lot of Paul Heyman guys out there." And so Heyman goes, "Okay, I'll stick around some more." Then they hug. First match of the night, The Great Khali versus Mark Henry. Khali cannot work a match. It seems so obvious now. I mean, not just then, but overhead punch in the turnbuckle. I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna slap you. Mark Henry wins and then slams Hornswoggle to my amusement. Backstage we go with Booker T and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho wants in the Elimination Chamber match, and he gets put into a match to try to get into the match. Then we go to Vicky Guerrero's office with Paul Heyman, and Vicky gets a call. Heyman's all like, "I want to put a stipulation into the match," and then Vince gets on speakerphone, and Paul Heyman goes, "Okay, I want to take away the championship advantage." Okay. Vince says that one condition, or Paul Heyman says that he would do anything for that. Vince says, "Okay." So everyone looks around, it's like, really, that was it? Alright. No championship advantage. Second match of the night, Chris Jericho versus Daniel Bryan. Oh man, this match was awesome. I mean, especially compared to the last crap-filled match of the last one. Oof. No question here. This was probably the match of the night. Lots of counters. There was a Walls of Jericho into the no-lock, and then right back into the Walls of Jericho, and a counter out of that. There was a code breaker, and then Jericho qualifies for the chamber match. Third match of the night. Sheamus, Ryback, Cena, also known as John Cena. Let's see. Do I want to do John Cena? No. Super Cena and his amazing friends versus three-man band. This is not fair. This match is... You have the three-man band who is struggling as a team of jobbers versus three main event guys who are super over with everyone. Okay, yeah, that's... Okay. We go to a segment that was taped earlier. Big Show punches people because he does. Yeah, people are laughing. And then Big Show comes out, and he's gonna do an interview with Matt Striker, and he gets punched. Okay, and then he spends several minutes, whatever, and he doesn't say anything, leaves the ring. Fourth match of the night, Jack Swagger versus Zack Ryder. In a match where Zack Ryder taps out, and he's with a guy named Zeb Coulter. Now, I'm not sure who this guy is, but apparently he's way old school. Even, I don't know. So, it's interesting what they're trying to do here I mean, Jack Swagger is doing the whole real American gimmick sort of thing, and they're taking it to the far right extreme. I'm talking Tea Party sort of thing. Now, I try not to get political, but this is now a political gimmick. This Zeb Coulter guy gets on the mic, and he says some extremely bigoted things. Well, not extremely, but some rather bigoted comments. And oh man, just stay classy, WWE, stay classy. Now, with my original prediction about doing a Jack Swagger Antonio Cesaro match for the United States Championship, this thing is kind of hit a brick wall almost, because I don't see Jack Swagger climbing out of this kind of heel gimmick into a babyface. Now, for this match to happen, one of them will have to be babyface. Somebody has to turn. And the only one who can turn at this point is Antonio Cesaro. And, I mean, sure, he's kind of tweening right now because he gets on commentary in this next match saying that he's only defending himself against The Miz and he doesn't like The Miz. But first, we go backstage and Dolph Ziggler, he tries to stay relevant. He wants in the Elimination Chamber because Jericho's in it. That means he has to be in it too. So he gets put in the match with Kane. Excuse me. Fifth match of the night. The Miz versus Cody Rhodes. Where Cesaro interferes because he doesn't like The Miz at all. He says he doesn't like The Miz as a person. He's loud, obnoxious, and he was defending himself. I tend to agree. Now, okay, we have a WWE reading thing, video package again. Sixth match of the night. Primo and Epico versus Brodus Clay and Tensai. I didn't pay much attention to this because I was staring at Rosa Mendes and the Funkadactyls way too much. Because the Funkadactyls have pom-poms now. I got distracted. Brodus Clay and Tensai win, and then they dance afterwards. Up next, The Shield. The Shield come out, and this is their big promo about why they're fighting Super Cena and his amazing friends. They call out John Cena and Cena's team. And they say that John Cena will fail because he's a failure. They say that he lives in a bubble where he can do whatever he wants. And it doesn't matter because he's John Cena. And they also say that this whole thing that they're fighting the belief in the system. Because in the last 10 years, there's now a system in place for making these superstars. I guess what they're trying to do is that it's no longer about being the best. It's about being molded. Maybe. And, I mean, sure. Oh, I got it. Let's see. After that, the lights go out. Super Cena's amazing friends attack. So, let's put this into kind of perspective. The only way that John Cena and his amazing friends can get a one-up on the Shield is to, last week, what they did was have more numbers, more people gang up. Sure, there were only 3, it was 3-on-3. However, there were a lot more people on the ramp. This time, the lights go out and there's a sneak attack. Now, I'm not too sure on the whole good guy, bad guy tactic thing, but I'm pretty sure that sneak attacks fall under the bad guy category. And I also have another beef with this entire thing. They were building up a thing where they had Randy Orton, Ryback, Sheamus versus The Shield. Okay? And so Randy Orton leaves so John Cena can hog the spotlight. Yeah, that's basically it. John Cena inserts himself into another storyline where he wins. This is... Okay, so switching gears here for a second. I'll come back. I've been watching this OSW podcast, Old School Wrestling. You should check them out. They cover pay-per-views in the Hulkamania era in succession. They're in 1991, and I've seen a lot of similarities where the Hulk Hogan is like, "Oh, brother, can't have anyone else in the spotlight, brother. I gotta insert myself in, brother. Brother. John Cena is just like that. Where things don't get off the ground unless John Cena is involved. We've seen enough. Okay, so back to the show. 7th match of the night, Damien Sandow versus Alberto Del Rio. Damien Sandow says he doesn't like country music. So that's how he gets heat. Okay. Del Rio wins and he points to the WrestleMania sign because this is all about WrestleMania. We go backstage where Barrett is about to go do his match thing and he gets jumped by Bo Dallas and Bo Dallas beats him up and then Barrett is like, ah. 8th match of the night, Kofi Kingston versus Wade Barrett. This was kind of interesting, the finish, where Kofi was getting the upper hand, and then Barrett was all like, I'm going to get out of the ring, and then I'm going to trap Kofi into the apron, and then I'm going to elbow the apron, knocking him out. And he does so. Okay, main event time. Kane versus Dolph Ziggler. More apron talk, but first, I got distracted because of AJ's outfit, and yeah. Okay, so AJ gets on the apron. Ziggler launches AJ into Big E. He's all like, no! And then Kane goes, I'm going to chokeslam you, and then he chokeslams him, and then Kane wins, so he's in the match now, so all of the participants in the Elimination Chamber are in. We have Randy Orton, we have the Great Khali, and then we have Jack Swagger, Chris Jericho, let's see, who else? Kane, Daniel Bryan. Okay, so Daniel Bryan, Kane, Randy Orton. Oh, Mark Henry. Mark Henry is also in. Khali and Jericho. Right. Yeah. So here we go with the big thing where you have The Rock, the least active WWE champion in last whatever. So he comes out. He says it's story time, and he tells a story about a local story about how he bought a car from a crackhead, and there was a crackhead, and there was another crackhead, and then he drove the car, and then he ditched the car. And then Punk interrupts, and then they all fight, and then Punk grabs the title and he goes, "You say to bring it, I take it." And he takes the title, and that's how the Raw ends. Yay! So, okay, Raw wasn't all that great, but it it was there. The Jericho Daniel Bryan match was definitely the match of the night. It wasn't really all that wacky. SmackDown wasn't all that wacky. Raw wasn't all that wacky. It was just kind of like just building up for the Elimination Chamber thing. It was all a SmackDown show. SmackDown on Raw. SmackDown on SmackDown. Yada, yada, yada. And the Shield is all like, oh, we're just 6-man tag. Should be an Elimination Chamber match. That's all I'm saying. So, next week, we have another probably one of the biggest shows of the year. Because we are covering the final stop to the Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber match. Whole pay-per-view. And the Raw afterwards. As we're counting down on the road to WrestleMania 29. And we'll get those results to you. Oh yeah, that's right. Wait a minute. Predictions. I predict that Randy Orton will win the Elimination Chamber match. And Alberto Del Rio retains, The Rock retains, and Super CENA and his amazing friends win too, just because. Oh well. So, we'll have results, and we'll see you next week on the Sunset Flip Wrestling Podcast.